Packers make changes in the office this offseason, and that's got a lot of Packer fans excited about what this could mean moving forward for the team. This is our topic for tonight, so stick around. This video is brought to you by Packer Fan Cave, everything you need to turn your man cave into a Packer fan cave. You can check them out at packerfancave.net. There is a link in the description below this video. You can also check out my website at packerfannetwork.com. There's a link in the description below to that as well. So Packer fans are excited this year. We finally get to see what the defense is going to look like without Dom Capers, and see what the team structure is going to look like without Ted Thompson as general manager. And here to discuss this with me is my friend and lifelong Packer fan, Mark Pettine. Mark, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, what do you hope to see out of the Packers this offseason?
Well, like you said, like most Packer fans, I'm pretty excited about what's to come. You know, I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous. I think the phrase "be careful what you wish for" comes to mind, because Packer fans have what they've been wishing for, at least what many people have been wishing for, and that's some changes, especially in the general manager position and defensive coordinator, and both of those happened this offseason, as well as the offensive coordinator position. So there's going to be a lot of changes, but I think knowing the Packers and knowing their style and knowing the way they do business, I'm confident, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of differences, and I think what I'm looking forward to most is seeing what the changes are defensively. I think bringing back Philbin as the offensive coordinator, I think it's going to be, you know, business as usual as long as number 12 stays healthy. I think, you know, promoting from within in the general manager position, I think things are going to stay running smoothly. We'll see come draft time what things look like, but I think the thing I'm most excited about is seeing what they're going to do defensively with some new blood in there. I don't know anything about, I think you pronounce his name Pettine, so that's how I've heard it.
So.
But that's how much I know about him, that I don't even know how to pronounce his last name yet. But I'm excited for the changes, but also a little bit nervous, just knowing that Aaron's only got so many years left, and I hope this is the right move. But like I said, I love this team. I'm confident in this organization, and I think that yeah, I'm confident that they make the right choices. We'll see how things play out.
Yeah. Now, one thing that does make some people nervous this season is, you know, when you've got a team like what the Packers have right now that's been so close to being Super Bowl ready for so many years, and then you go ahead and change your general manager, and you know that a lot of general managers want to quick make it my team. Do you think Gutekunst is going to be in a hurry to make it his team, or do you think he's going to respect the fact that we got a team that just needs a few holes plugged?
It's the $1 million question right now, because nobody knows. Nobody knows. He's never been a general manager before. But I think having come through the organization, knowing how they do business over at the offices on Lombardi Avenue, I think he's gonna obviously he's gonna be different than Ted Thompson. I don't think there's any question about that. And he's already made mention of the fact that he's gonna be, I don't know if more aggressive was the word he used, but he's going to explore all his options in terms of free agency and signing players. So I don't think we're going to see too drastic of changes, but I think you're right. I think there's the at least the potential that he wants to make his own mark on this team and do that like most general managers would, especially when there's their first opportunity. But you know, I think, like I said, having come through the ranks of the Packers, knowing how they do business, I think he's going to make his mark, but I think it'll be subtle.
I agree, and I think no matter who you are, you're going to recognize the talent that you've got there, and I think you're going to realize that your job at this point is more to fill those holes and build on the team that's been building. You know, there's always been that idea that you build for a future that never comes. You know, well, now that future's here. You know, I mean, if you're talking about Ted Thompson was building for a future that never comes. He left this team in really good position, and I think Gutekunst is stepping into a good situation, and I think it's just a matter he needs to recognize that, and he needs to. That's why I'm also glad they went from within trade. Bring in a guy who's been around and understands what that looks like.
Absolutely, and I think seeing these or what these changes may be, I think the thing that's most exciting is not that I didn't think that Ted was doing a good job, but I think his style was sort of it was getting old, and I think, like you said, building for a future that maybe never came. What we always thought that Ted was doing, despite the fact that we wanted him to do more in free agency, or we wanted him to be more aggressive with certain types of players, fielding certain positions in the draft, what we always thought he was doing was building a deep team. And I think this past season exposed, I do think there's a ton of talent on this roster still.
Oh, yeah.
I think this team is really close, but as they have been for the last 5 to 7 years.
Right.
But I think the injuries last year, not just at the quarterback position, but seeing what other teams did when they lost their quarterback. I mean, look at the 3 of the 4 teams that are left
Right.
in the final 4 of the football playoffs this year. They're all based on defenses, and they're all 3 of the 4 are being run by a quarterback who's either inexperienced or a has-been, or a recycle, or somebody who never will be. And then there's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But I think I'm excited to see what Gutekunst does in terms of building defensively, because no matter how great your coordinator is, you got to have the talent on defense.
Right.
And I think there's a handful of guys that are really talented on defense, but we need some playmakers.
Yeah.
And I hope he's going to be aggressive and go and get those guys. If he's got to supplement it, by free agency, so be it. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what he's going to do in terms of those little tweaks to, I don't know if he's a Ted Thompson disciple or protege necessarily, but like we've been talking about, he's been through the system. He knows how we do business.
Right.
I don't think he's going to put us in any position that's going to hurt us long term. It's just, it's a crapshoot when it comes to the draft and to players. You never know what somebody's lifespan in this league
Right.
is.
Now, do you think he's going to feel pressure following Ted Thompson to invest more in the draft in the free agency than Ted Thompson had?
No doubt. I think, all you had to do is listen to the press conference. It's one of the first questions he got after how do you pronounce your name?
Right.
was, what's going to be your approach to free agency? You're going to approach it the same way as Ted. I think there's going to be pressure in that job no matter what. And he, those are big shoes to fill. Ted Thompson is, his name is, is held in pretty high regard throughout the league. And he did some great things in Seattle. He did some great things in Green Bay. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could argue that he, weren't his strong suits. But I think all in all, he's a really solid GM. And I think there's always going to be some pressure and some expectation to follow somebody great. But I think we talked about this earlier. I said that nobody ever could follow Brett Favre, and then there's a guy out of California named Aaron Rodgers that has done pretty well so far. So, hopefully he's not just as good, he's even better. And, we'll find out real shortly, because the draft is only 2.5 months away now.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're getting pretty close to free agent period. There's a lot coming in this offseason, and normally as Packer fans, we're not even thinking about that at this point. We're thinking, how are the Packers going to do in the championship game, at least that's what I'm normally thinking at this point in the season.
Absolutely.
It's definitely been a strange feeling, knowing ahead of time before the season was over that we didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like forever since I've had that feeling, and yeah, okay, it was 9 years ago, but 9 years is forever in the lifespan of a football player,
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Especially when you only get 16 games a season. You know,
Right.
9 years goes pretty fast.
yeah,
But I think that's why you're seeing these changes that we're talking about. Is this is the first time that they haven't made the playoffs in 9 years, and we're not used to being in this position. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, as you know, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, you know, it's a different story, and it absolutely is. But I think it proved this year that football is the ultimate in team sports, and
Right.
you need all 53, you need all 45 that are active every week. You need everybody, and like I said, you know, those teams that are still playing right now are all playing because they have complete teams. And,
Right.
I'm looking forward to getting back there. Like I said, there's a ton of talent on this team. This team is right there. They're just a couple of pieces away.
yeah,
And it's not pieces that you need to wait years for. There's, you know, there's players that, you know, are going to come available to you, whether, you know, through the draft or trades or free agency. You're going to have that opportunity. And I think I think there's going to be some renewed energy and excitement in that front office. You know, the way they've restructured things and the way they've shaken things up.
you know,
I think there's going to be, you know, some eagerness to prove that, you know, this past season was just a fluke.
yeah, I agree. And what do you guys think out there? Do you guys think that there's going to be an eagerness to prove what these new guys in the office can do? Do you think we're going to see more from Gutekunst out of the free agency than what we're used to seeing out of Ted Thompson? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Share it with your friends. And Mark, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
And for the Packer Fan Network, I am Mark Schneider.